Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to all you beautiful bastards and bitches out there listening to me right now. My dog says, hey, what's up? Jealous bitch, jealous bitch. Up. Say hi. Say hi. Come on up. Come on up, you hairy fuck. Come on. She says hi to all you motherfucking beautiful people out there right now. Right. Girl, can you go lay down? Alright? Go lay down. Good girl. Lay down! Hey! Are you... Take two, motherfuckers. She's like, I'm still here. Pay attention to me. No, I don't want to pay attention to you. I love you so much. Oh my God. Could you please go lay down, girl? Come on. Come on. Alright. Get out. Leave. Leave. Come on. No. If you don't take time after your kids, whether they are fur babies or actual babies, actually more importantly if they're actual children, you are not a man or a woman. Make time for your kids. That is something I have not yet learned. You are expecting our first child come here September, but I think I do got the gist of that. That being said, nobody ever knows the gist of anything until it actually does happen to them. So, that being said, salute to our men and women overseas. You're doing something I have not done, nor will I think I ever would choose to do so. But for you all, you have my respect. Alright, so, what's going on, you beautiful bastards and bitches? Right now, we're at Garage Talk with Jason. We were talking about the Second Amendment. Let me give you a quick refresher course on the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment, as by archives.gov/legislative. Amendment number 2. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Let's repeat that real quick. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So, got the Second Amendment out of the way. Let's talk about some weapons, which everybody fucking loves weapons. Or hates them. Really doesn't matter to me. The first one we shall be going through this little baby right here. It's my Ben Pearson recurve bow. Now, this bow right here, it's more of a low range competition bow. I cannot legally hunt with this in the state of Ohio. The drawback is not enough to be able to take down an animal or animal person, a being, a thing, without causing undue harm and stress. But that being said, recurve bow right here. Honestly, this is probably my favorite bow. Only thing about this is it's difficult to get arrows for. Not necessarily to get arrows for, But to find somebody who can fletch arrows instead of vinyl or plastic, you really do need feathers. This right here is my bear hair rest. And shoot a vinyl or plastic arrow, or vinyl vein or plastic arrow vein arrow through this bow. It's like 60-40 whether or not it's going to actually shoot straight. Most of the time, it shoots off at some random ass direction. And that's because, well, it doesn't have a little circle hoop thing to shoot it through. It's resting on this right here. This little bear hair thing right here. And what happens is, instead of like a normal compound or crossbow or what have you, when it shoots off of this right here, and right here, actually it's just right here, right here for the most part, this side portion right here, tends to kick that arrow off to the right, because it, as the arrow goes through, it hits it off towards the left of the shooter stance, to the right of you on the viewers, and then makes it go off there because it kicks the tail feathers like that. And if it's a natural feather vein, it just kind of slides right through that, then the feathers kind of help guide it through. The plastic or a vinyl vein, that doesn't have the same amount of give, so instead of it going straight and the feathers moving off to the side, it kicks it off to the side right there. That's one of the several reasons that this is not a competition, or this is only a competition bow, or a fun bow, or just a bow to go out and have some fun with, just to shoot around with. It's not a hunting bow. Even if I could get arrows for it that are fletched with feathers, use feathers, this is not a bow I would ever hunt with. That being said, it is fun to shoot. It's got, if you are a bow person, you know what natural sighting is. It's, you know, there's no pinhole size or anything like that. It's all just natural feel. How does it feel? You kind of get used to how it shoots like that. It's a fun bow. As I said, it is probably my favorite bow to shoot just for fun. Now, this right here is my hunting compound bow. I've got a trigger release to go with it. It's much more intense of a pullback strength for it, which is one of the reasons that I use my trigger release with it. You can see it kind of flexes around the wrist right there. We got this little double loop right here that you use to clip on that eye loop, pull back, and release with. This bow right here I use 4 arrows in the quiver, and this is what I use when I go deer hunting during bow season. I do not particularly like crossbows, as I do kind of feel that is cheating. That being said, if you use a crossbow, no doubt you do have skill. Part of the reason is that I got this for Christmas, hell, a couple of years ago. I'm too poor to afford to buy a new bow right now, so you know, I might have more affinity for a crossbow if I own a crossbow. But that being said, this guy right here will take down most animals in the middle of the country, northern of the country, as long as you hit it right. This right here is my Martin SC Trophy Master. Awesome bow. A lot of people have a little loop right here. The arrow goes through. I do prefer this guy right here, this little tensioner spring right here, It does have a heat shrink wrap around it. I have the arrow glide through it. And once again, 4 arrows to the quiver. Always use my trigger release for it. Does have a peep sight. This little round thing right here. When you pull it back, twist back out, and you can have a little peep sight that you can aim on these 3 little dots right here. 3 little tangs pushing out when you go hunt, depending on what range you sighted for, you're aiming for. So that's my bow for when I go hunting. This right here, my 12 gauge. What I go deer hunting with during gun season, the 1 week out of the entirety of the year, you can use a shotgun to hunt deer in Ohio at least. Depending upon how it's loaded, what kind of plug you do have in the magazine, which is this guy right here, depends on how many you can load into it right any given time. Usually it's 2 plus 1, so 2 slugs plus 1 in the chamber, 3 shots total. This right here is my deer hunting 12 gauge. This right here is my coyote hunting gun. I use this guy when me and a couple of my friends go out to a couple of people's properties to thin out the coyote population. There's a couple of people that I do know that raise ducklings, chicks, and other kinds of small fowl, small game birds that are kind of like a shelterish kind of person, where somebody finds a couple of eggs, these people raise them. Coyotes are bad up there, so me and my buddy come out and hunt coyotes with this. So, right now, you're like, I thought this was a Second Amendment video, not a hunting video. Well, you are 100% right. The Second Amendment is not for hunting. The Second Amendment is for defense of persons, people, places, and ideals. This guy right here, my longbow, can be deadly. Do not really recommend it. It does not have enough oomph to deliver that killing blow. It's just a fun competition bow to shoot. Fun fucking bow. I promise you that. This dude right here, before black powder in general was a thing, this was the original assault weapon. Well, not this guy. More like recurve bow or longbow. But the bow and arrow was the original assault weapon of the French and Indian War. Anything back, look back before muskets and rifles were a thing. This guy right here, it does have its plus and minuses when it comes to urban combat, if you will. That being said, she is almost entirely silent. You do not hear it, and it's big enough to take down a moose. Smaller things, even better. take with that what you will. You can get bigger quivers for this guy right here. You can get different kind of arrowheads for it. This is a 3-blade razor broadhead. Devastating if that actually hits an animal. This is a 4-blade razor broadhead. The total circumference is bigger than the 3-blade, or it's a little bit smaller than the 3-blade, but the entirety of the hole that it opens up when it hits a particular animal does devastating damage, and also the point itself helps it penetrate a little bit deeper. Now, when you're talking about deer, white-tailed deer, which is what I usually do hunt, absolutely devastating. Just cuts through the soft tissue, the hard tissue, muscles, ligaments, and depending on the range, even bone will shatter through a bone. Cut it right out. Awesome for that hunting purposes. Cleared. This is my hunting 12 gauge. I don't really use it for hunting all that much. Most of the time when somebody has the chance to get off work, it's not me. I'm not high enough up in my totem pole of work related stuff. But it is a one hell of a home defense gun. That right there is enough to scare most people off. Just that click click right there. Most people understand the sound of a shotgun chambering, and that's enough to scare most people off. For the occasional meth head, crackhead, heroin addict, it may not necessarily work. Therefore, I do 100% recommend personal loadout is birdshot, buckshot, slug, slug, slug. That being said, I'm changing out how I load this as buckshot and then slugs the rest of the way, because I have a child on the way, and you know what? Birdshot, buckshot, slug, slug, slug is okay if you're just by yourself. You have plausible less ranking of lethality. Well, I shot him with birdshot, I didn't stop him. I shot him with buckshot and didn't stop him. So I hit him with a 3-inch Magnum slug, and that'll stop anybody. Don't care if you have bulletproof vest on or not. Whether or not it penetrates the vest, it'll knock his ass flat down on the ground. Zero conversation about that. They will not get up after that. As I said, before I found out I was an expecting father, it was always birdshot, buckshot, slug, slug, slug. Now it's buckshot, everything else is slugs. Actually, you know what, as of right now, just everything is slugs. Hollow point slugs, 3-inch Magnums. I don't care if you're wearing a bulletproof vest or not. Your life is not worth my life, or my family's life, or my child's life. Essentially, that's how I view it. So, as of right now, everything I have loaded in my shotgun slugs all the way through. Safety on. Home Defense Weapon 101 shotgun. if you do not have a home defense weapon, I would honestly recommend a 12 gauge or a 20 gauge depending upon you and your family. But definitely a shotgun of some sort. You can have massive spread on it. You can have moderate spread with a decent amount of penetration, or you can have no spread and maximum penetration. And whether or not they are wearing a Kevlar vest, a 3-inch Magnum 12 gauge slug through their chest in that general area, even if it doesn't penetrate, knocks their ass flat on the ground, and they would wish that they are dead. Plus, every shotgun I've ever bought comes with a plug to be something that you can legally hunt with. So you pop off this little magazine cap up at the top and put in this little plug. Limits the amount of shotgun shells you can have inside of your shotgun magazine. Now this guy right here, general defense weapon right here. They will call it an automatic assault weapon, even though it's only single shot. One pull of the trigger means one shot of the rifle. It's not even a binary trigger. So that means that every time you pull the trigger the first time, it shoots one bullet. You gotta release the trigger and shoot again. Binary triggers means that you pull the trigger, it shoots. You release the trigger, it shoots again. It's not even that advanced. Although this is considered a weapon of war. Even though legitimate weapons of war are not available to the general public. This guy right here is my AR-15. Honestly, if you have a can't talk right now. If you do have a significant other that probably can't handle a shotgun or even a pistol, this guy right here, this little baby right here, is what you want to have in your house for home and personal defense. Standard magazine capacity is 30 plus 1. Once you rack it and load it, reload your magazine. For people who know guns, if you know guns, you know what it fucking kicks like. If you don't know guns, it's like a hummingbird gives you a little kiss in the elbow, in the shoulder. It doesn't kick at all, which means it is awesome for the lady friend in your life if she's there and you're not, and there's some kind of Black Lives Matter / Antifa / Rayshard Brooke Ride or whatever kind of thing happens. It's really easy to control. It's really customizable. So you can have different kinds of hand grips right here, fore grips, different kinds of sights. You can put on a sight that'll go out to a couple of 100 yards. You can put in a close range sight like I have on right here right now. The customizations are almost limitless with this particular platform. It's an AR. It's the best weapon for both defense and offense. The best defense is a good offense. The best offense is a good defense. This guy right here does it all. 30-round magazine is the standard. Back in Vietnam days, this platform had one hell of a bad reputation to it. But so did any kind of thing that was used 30, 40 years ago. But as of today, I would put this guy right here, which is a Anderson Arms AR-15, against any AK. I'd almost guarantee you it performs as well, if not better, than an AK-47. But you have the added benefits of almost unlimited customizations versus an AK-47, which is arguably more dependable than an AR-15. But it's an AK-47. This can be a short-range, mid-range, long-range rifle. There's unlimited potential for what you want to customize this for, depending about what you want to do with it. Essentially, well, there's a reason you can still find AK ammo out on the market. You can't find AR ammo out on the market. It's because this guy right here, unlimited potential, the best home defense and the best offense weapon that I know of. For maximum customization and maximum defense. AR-15 platform. Ruger, great platform to build off of. Anderson Arms, which I have right here, I have never found any real issue with at all, ever, period. No matter how much I shoot it or I clean it. Yeah. So, you've got different aspects of hunting and shooting. Honestly, depends on what you're doing with what you have. I'd recommend a weapon that will do both hunting and self-defense. Shotgun is probably the first most basic thing you can have for home defense. Now, for personal defense, out on the road, you really can't top a pistol. There are hundreds of thousands of different pistols that you can purchase with different kinds of concealed carry and different options right now. Honestly, this is my open carry. It's what I go through with when I don't want to hide my gun. Much larger than my concealed carry weapons, which is generally speaking a 38 Special, snub nose. Hides really well in my fat rolls, to be honest with you. My fiance carries a 380. Really, really small. You can't tell where the fuck it is. A lot of that kind of stuff depends upon how you dress, what you carry, how much weight you want to carry. But, yeah. Regain your Second Amendment right. It is not about hunting. It is not about sport shooting. It is about being prepared in case the worst happens. Now, you might say, well, what's the worst that could happen? Well, I'll tell you. The worst that could happen is that your government takes away your ability to own a weapon, to own a gun, to own a firearm. They strip you of your rights entirely. And you might say, well, that won't happen to us here in the United States. It's already happening. It's been happening since the Second Amendment has been instilled. You have the right to keep and bear arms, except if it's a federal building, except if they don't want you to have it in there, except for the fact that, yeah, we don't like the guns in this particular state, so you don't have the right to carry or to own a gun in this state or this province, such as Washington, D.C. I want to bring up the fact that 99.95% of any mass shootings or shootings in general tend to take place in a place that is considered and marked and legally considered a gun-free zone. When's the last time you heard of a shooting happening at a gun store? Doesn't happen. Gun store people are armed. NRA meetings. No, it doesn't happen. If you go and try and shoot up a NRA meeting, you're gonna be dead before anybody else will. You might get off a lucky shot, but that's the end of it. The Constitution was put in place to protect your rights from the government, not to protect the government from you. Honestly, I do think that it's time to start exercising that particular freedom. Stop conceding your rights, your God-given rights, your rights to life, liberty, and the pursuits of happiness and protection to the government, just because they have a crooked lawyer that claims that, yeah, well, we can do this because X, Y, and Z, and we've interpreted the laws to say that we can do this. No, take back your rights. I think it was Thomas Jefferson that says, an armed populace is a polite populace. Because a disarmed populace is a populace that is ready to be taken advantage of. I probably butchered that, and I probably didn't get that quote right, but doesn't stop it from being true. If you're armed and you know anything about self-defense, you most likely are not looking for a fight. Quick story. My fiance was talking to me about one of her girlfriends, saying that she wanted a gun, but she has no idea how to handle a gun. And she asked me, as being way more liberal than I am, well, do you think she should have a gun? I said, yes, but I don't want her to. She said, well, that sounds a little bit hypocritical right there. I said, no, it's not at all. Every American citizen is afforded and is indeed endowed with the rights to defend and protect themselves. Now, that being said, do I want somebody who's never shot a gun before to have the ability to carry a gun? Yes. Do I think they should? No. And why not? Well, they don't know anything about a gun. Anybody who has just purchased a gun, I really do think they need training or education about that. But I think it's against our Constitution and our way of life to mandate that you have to pay for it, go through all these classes regulated by a state. The state, whether it is your state or the federal state. That doesn't seem right to me. I want every citizen to have the same rights, protected and enforced, and I want them to enforce their own rights about that. Does it happen? Fuck no. But it comes back to the same thing. Do you think any American should have the right to own a gun and carry a gun? Yes. Do you think every American should? No. Why is that? Well, because I don't trust people who have never handled a gun. But I cannot go against my initial feelings, thoughts, and how I believe that says, hey, because you've never held a gun before, you're not allowed to hold a gun at all. No, you're allowed to have one. Carry it, hold it, wield it, whatever you want to do. I do think that you should have some training, and I do know that everybody is not like I am. They have not grown up in the culture of firearms. And, hell, thanks to the George Floyd 2020 1619 riots that we've had for the last couple of months, I do not deny that there are so many people who have a gun right now that should not have a gun. In my opinion, if I was the master of everything, I would say, yeah, no, you shouldn't have a gun. But it's not my place to say that. It is my place to say you should have training on how to use a firearm. Use it responsibly and respectfully. And also, that does mean teaching your children that, hey, a gun, it's not a toy. Every gun you pick up, you should assume is loaded. And I think that's going to be the next biggest thing. It's because right now, you have all these left-leaning people went out and bought a gun. And you're going to have a substantial increase on children accidentally shooting people because they thought that the gun that they had was a toy. Because they've never been taught any differently. That is an issue that should be addressed. But it will not. And they're going to come back to the same fucking issue in 6 or 7 months. Well, we should ban all guns, even though I bought this gun myself and I didn't teach my child that, hey, the guns that I bought you as toys are toys, and the guns that I bought for myself is an actual gun. They're just going to say, well, that should be more well regulated. Blah-de-blah-de-blah. It's an open situation. Nothing's going to end well. I might be a little bit more pessimistic than most people are, but I think our best shot is a peaceful resolution of the states from what they are to what they should be. But hey, that's just my opinion. This has been Jason with Garage Talk. If you feel like anything I said was wrong, misinformed, misinformation, you disagree with me, you're a fucking cunt, and you don't think that what I said is truthful, please do. Email me at patriotpress@protonmail.com. That's PATRIOTPRESS @protonmail.com. That's PROTONMAIL.com. And you know what? If you disagree with me, feel free to disagree with me. Comment if you disagree with me. I really don't care what you have to say, because apparently being super straight gives you that leeway to say, fuck y'all. But for real, if you do listen to this, or you did listen to this, thank you. And if you disagree with me, thank you as well. That's something that we are dearly missing in today's day and age, and hopefully we can start some dialogue and stop some dialogue that is potentially destructive to the United States. Well, that's me signing off for the night. Thinking about starting another series called See You Next Tuesday, talking about people who, well, I severely disagree with. I will see you next Tuesday. Follow the logic from there if you understand that. And hey, y'all, whether you're listening to this in the morning, afternoon, evening, or good night, I do wish you a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Y'all take it easy.